Gratitude is a word that we hear a lot in Buddhist circles and spiritual communities in general. The importance of practicing gratitude is something that is repeated time and time and time again. And overall, I would say this is a correct teaching. We as human beings have a negativity bias. We tend to see the bad, the negative in any situation, and it can be useful, skillful even, to retrain our minds to look for reasons to practice gratitude, to look for the silver lining in any situation. That said, this idea that we should always practice gratitude can be a bit tone deaf. There are times when a bad situation is just a bad situation, and trying to find the silver lining, trying to practice gratitude in the midst of our suffering, much from alleviating pain, can actually add to it. So what I would suggest is maybe it's time we stop practicing gratitude. Maybe instead we should focus in on remember the bad things that have happened to us, the unpleasant things that we didn't enjoy, and then compare them to our current situation. Case in point, when I was a farm apprentice in upstate New York, one of the farms I worked on, I lived in an unheated trailer with no plumbing. Now, eventually we did run an extension cord from the house to the trailer, and I got a space heater. So I was able to get some electricity and some heat, which was nice, but that didn't solve the problem of the lack of plumbing. Anytime I wanted to use the restroom in the middle of the night, I had to get up, get fully dressed, walk out to the latrine, do my business. On the nights when the mosquitoes were especially bad, or when it was raining, or when I tripped and fell in the mud face first, it wasn't exactly a pleasant experience. In addition to that, part of my chores there on the farm was to clean said latrine about once a week, which wasn't exactly pleasant. We did all the things, we put sawdust over the waste, etc., but at a certain point, a latrine is just a latrine, and the smell is just the smell. Now, I want to be clear, I'm not telling you this story because I want you to feel bad for me. I knew exactly what my living situation was going to be when I went out there to work on the farm, and I wasn't looking for a comfortable life at that point in time. I was looking to learn more about farming, which I did. I bring up this story only to illustrate how it contrasts to what I deal with now in the present moment. I have a house with a bathroom with indoor plumbing. If I want to use the restroom in the middle of the night, I get up in my boxers, I go in the bathroom, I do my business. No mosquitoes, no rain, no smell from the latrine. And oftentimes what I do in those moments, instead of practicing gratitude, I make myself remember what it was like to use the bathroom at the farm. I think about the flies buzzing around. I think about the smell. I think about the mosquitoes biting me in my nether regions. And then I compare that to what I'm experiencing now in the present moment. And the badness of my past situation makes my current situation seem pretty amazing. And in spite of myself, I somehow end up feeling grateful for what I have. Something as simple as a clean restroom that's indoors with a flush toilet is mind-blowing every time I think about all those nights I spent crouching down in an outhouse in the woods. So what I would propose is that maybe you can do the same. If your current situation is bad, let it be bad. Don't try to convince yourself it's not. Instead, think about a situation that was worse. Think about a situation when you were really down and out, just hungry and tired and miserable, and focus in on those feelings. If you were hungry, try to feel the pain in your stomach. If you were tired, try to think what was going on in your head in that moment. And once you've really zeroed in on that terrible, terrible situation, compare that to what you're dealing with in the present day. What I would posit is that most likely that bad situation in the past will make your current situation look like an improvement. And suddenly you'll be able to deal with the present more effectively because you'll have greater appreciation for the fact that it's not your past. By turning away from the practice of gratitude per se, and instead focusing in on the negativity that we experience in life, that is not running away from our suffering, but embracing it, tearing it apart, learning to understand it as it were, we gain a greater appreciation for those moments in life when we don't suffer. One of the reasons that it's so challenging for us as Westerners to practice gratitude is because we don't understand that suffering is the default. If we look at human history, the default situation, the normal situation, if you will, is that people were hungry and underfed. The normal situation was people working themselves to the bone, sometimes to the point of injury, not having a safe place to sleep at night, not being warm in their beds. So if we focus on that fact, if we focus on the suffering of the world, the suffering that we've experienced in our own lives, then what happens is a spotlight is placed on all the portions of our lives, all the parts of our day where we don't suffer. When we think about the times when we were hungry, we have more appreciation for being full. When we think about the times that we were tired, we have a greater appreciation for the moments when we're well rested. And of course, again, this does not erase the fact that we have problems in the present day. It doesn't eliminate the suffering that we're experiencing. But what it does do is that it helps us put things into a healthier perspective. We can see them more clearly. Not from a consumerist, capitalist perspective where we think everything in life should go our way, but rather from a pessimistic realist perspective, a Buddhist perspective where we understand that life is suffering, and anytime we're not suffering, it's a gift. Now, unfortunately, we in the West aren't very good at recognizing the gifts that we are given. And that's fine. That's what the practice is for. That's what the Buddhism is for. The chanting, the meditating, the sutra study, the prostrations in front of the altar. It's meant to help us change our mindset so that we understand that when things are going well, those are the moments when we should appreciate them. Really dive in and live life fully. And when things are going not so well, those are the times we can understand that it may not be perfect, but life could definitely be worse. Whether that's not having a bathroom, whether that's not having food, a warm place to sleep, a job. We've all experienced suffering in our lives. It is the one universal truth of human existence. And if we focus in on the suffering we've experienced, we're better able to enjoy the happiness we experience in the present moment. Amitabha.